Freeman.
Yeah, man, just obviously a satisfying win over a really good opponent. I'm proud of the way our guys prepared to, handled the excitement around this game and the hype and college game day being here. They handled it the right way by, using their energy to work, and they prepared the right way and went out and started from the beginning, started fast, and it wasn't perfect, but it's never perfect against a good opponent. And so we're going to celebrate it tonight, enjoy this, and then we'll get ready for this next opportunity tomorrow for senior day back at home. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Second row up the middle, Tim O'Malley.
Coach, Don Schuler's two-point return is going to be the highlight, but his first third down breakup, kind of a tone-setting hit by Don Schuler when they had a starting drive. Was that something you guys felt that hitting Pitt, there was a couple drop passes thereafter as well, that set the tone for your defense and your secondary?
Yeah, there's a standard the way we play. You have to play with the physicality that we demand, and so it's not for a certain game. That's like the standards you have to play with, and I'm not saying we always do it, but you're not okay if you don't play with that type of physicality. So it was a physical battle, and our guys chose to play the game that way.
Front row, Bennett Wise.
Coach, when it came to the defense as a whole, just what did you see in terms of the clarity and velocity of the returns that they played?
Yeah, they played fast, they played hard. We had to make some adjustments for our third down package based on what they were doing. Our quarterback's a good player now, right? He was hard to bring down, and he made some really good football players miss. And credit to him, for the ability to escape. But our guys kept battling, kept getting pressure. We continued to change up the coverage and the looks, and they played fast. Coach Ash and the defense staff done a really good job making sure our guys are prepared.
In the back row, Tyler Worko.
You mentioned college game day, and you talked a lot all week about some personal noise. There's a lot of noise attached to this game, maybe coming from the other coach. I'm curious how you kind of galvanized the group, and maybe there was nothing said about that noise, but how do you approach a game like this when there is a lot of that on the outside? Yeah,
I think any leader will find ways to motivate his group, but they know the opportunity at hand, right? And they know that, man, we have all we can focus on is this opportunity we have in front of us. Like, I don't have time to focus on anything else but this football program and what we have to do. And if I'm focusing on something other than that, then I'm wasting time. And so that's our focus, and that's got to be our players' focus, is what do we have to do to be ready for each opportunity.
We get a follow-up?
Yes, you do.
Malachi Field's probably the best game that he's had. He's had a lot of them, but just how big was he to – it was tough for both offenses today, but he was constant. Yeah,
I mean, he made some huge contested catches. We got him to jump off sides a couple times. We were able to throw it up and that 50-50 ball was a 100-0 ball, right? He was able to make those plays when we did. And that's what we expect out of him. He's a big-time receiver that usually makes those plays, and it was good to see him make them today.
Front row, Mike Berardino.
Another game where the pass rush set a tone early. The first three series, there's at least one sack. Over this run, it seems like at least multiple sacks every game. How pleased are you? What's been the difference in the ability to get pressure, I guess, with the down guy?
Yeah, I think one is the concepts of what you're trying to do in your pass rush, the pass rush game. But two, it's the players executing them and understanding them and understanding aiming points on a quarterback and rush lanes. And so it's a great job scheming, trying to get some one-on-ones. That's sometimes the best you can do is try to get some one-on-ones, and it's a really good job by our guys executing what they're being asked to do.
And then obviously Tay shows that playmaking ability again. What's the continued growth as he gets into his first November now? What do you see in terms of the confidence he brings out there?
He's as confident as anyone. But it's because of the work, because he knows he's gifted, but he's put in a lot of work, and he's making plays for us, man. He's an extremely talented football player that is just getting better, right? He's got the talent is one thing, but the work he's putting in and the improvements that he makes is it's very pleasing.
Front row on the left, Pete Sampson.
You said it wasn't perfect, but like, in what ways do you think the team is getting better consistently over weeks?
I mean, you look at I think sometimes we got to pull back and look at a quality win over a good opponent, right? Like today was, it's hard because you evaluate every single play, right? And so that's why you say, like, we're getting better, but we're not perfect. Like, there's some things that you evaluate every single play, and you want the plays that you don't win. Like, why didn't we win, and what do we got to do to make sure that happens? And then I think over time you look and say, okay, this team's getting better, right? You're getting better at executing at a higher level. And so, you know, there's a lot of good from today. There's some bad from today that we know we have to get corrected. But right now, as I said, just enjoy this thing, man. Enjoy it tonight, and then us as a coaching staff got to get back to evaluating where we can get better and more consistent tomorrow.
Maybe it's in the noise of the game, but what do you think of his calling time out there at the end? I don't know if Mert usually said anything to you, your very brief handshake afterwards.
No, I wanted to go celebrate, you know. But here's what I'll tell you. I'll answer this way. Like, to each their own. You know what I mean? I don't ever comment on about another program, but also I don't have time to think about that. Like, they called a timeout. All right, guys, let's get them stopped, right? And that's my challenge to our guys. Like, I don't know what exactly happened and how they scored on the last play. We got to evaluate it, but if they called a timeout, let's go. We got to win. We got to win this play. So that, you know, I mean, as you feel really good about how the defense played the whole, you know, I don't care who's in the game. You don't give up that touchdown at the very end, and so that's how I look at it.
Second row on the right, Chris Lowe.
Marcus, you talk a lot about complementary football. How important or gratifying is it this late in the season to see you guys stacking explosive plays on top of each other in different phases of the game?
Yeah, you know, defense did a really good job. Tay-Tay's interception for a touchdown, Don's, you know, 2-point conversion, converted for 2 points, and then followed up by big plays by your offense. And you know, you look at that pick six that CJ threw, and then it's followed up by a 2-point conversion that's returned for 2 points. And that's sometimes, as you look at last week, it was good. Like, we had a great series on offense, a great series on defense, great series on offense, great series on defense. And I can't remember what the final score was, but, you know, you see the margin of victory. Today what you saw was if the offense struggled, it was the defense that stepped up and really did some good things. And that's complementary football team, too. When one group's down, like, you got to make sure you can't go bad. Bad equals points. And that's what we can't have. And so, again, I was pleased, man. That's a good defense that they had. They had a good team, not just good defense, but I'm just proud of the way their guys kept battling.
Front row on the right, Michael Ferreira.
Right here, Coach, obviously, you know, you talk about team glory a lot is the theme, and everybody made an impact, whether it was CJ, Jeremiyah, defense. As a coaching perspective, what's your favorite thing seeing, no matter who it is, making a big play and stepping up for a victory?
What's my favorite thing to see?
Like the outcome, seeing everybody making an impact, not just one guy in today's victory.
What's my favorite thing about that?
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry.
that you're not dependent on one guy. Like, it's great. Like, here's what team glory means is that you put the team in front of yourself, and you know, certain guys will, if you do that and you continue to do your job, like, you'll get rewarded with tackles or interceptions or touchdowns. But at the end of the day, like, we are less concerned with who made that big play and more concerned with, hey, did you get your job done for the team? And that's the most satisfying thing. We did that enough today, right? Enough guys got their job done to win this game.
Going back to Bennett Wise for his second question.
And Coach, when it came to the rush offense, I think there was top 3 in the country in rush defense. What did you see from the offensive line and Jeremiyah to just constantly start turning out plays?
Man, it was like you had to fight and grit for every yard. And then all of a sudden, you know, Jeremiyah's going to break one. That's what he does. You know, I mean, he's going to break a tackle. He's going to make a play, that 4th down play. There's no defensive call that, like, can stop what happened there. He got outside of the defender that was supposed to be outside, and he gets him a 1st down. And so there's going to be times he does that, but they make you earn everything running the ball, right? They make you earn it all, and our offensive line and our running backs were gritty and tough, and they overcame a major challenge. to be able to successfully run the ball for enough to win.
Last question opportunity for Coach in the green sweatshirt, one of them.
Michael Fishman with Scholastic Magazine. Thank you, Coach. And just kind of building off that theme you talked about earlier of good versus good and bad on bad, how much attention do you and your coaching staff put towards like, the defense controlling the momentum of the game? Tay Johnson's pick six after Jay Love's touchdown, and Don Shuler's pick two coming off of the important pick six by CJ Carr. How much attention do you put towards controlling the momentum defensively?
We honestly don't put a whole bunch of attention into that. We put attention into doing your job. And I know that's not probably the answer you want, but like, what will get you to control the momentum of a game is doing your job. Right? That's how you get off the field. That's how you get a pick. Tay was right where he was supposed to be on that play. He didn't know the quarterback was going to throw it there, but he was in a position to get his job done. And so that's more important, and that's what we're going to focus on is how do I make sure I consistently do my job on this play. But the result of that is you're probably going to be able to control a lot of the momentum of the game if you do that enough. Cool.
Coach Freeman, thank you.
Good. Thank you, guys. Be safe.
It's big for me. I'm short, sorry. We're gonna start third row on the back, Tyler James.
Tay, what did you see that led to you being in the right spot for that interception?
Really just, just preparing myself for the game, going over the game plan with Coach Mickens and Coach Ash, so I kind of was prepared for it. I knew it was coming, and that led to me to be able to play fast and ultimately get a pick six for my team.
And what sort of pride do you have in the ability to return that for a touchdown, and then later when you guys are helping Adon return that 2-point conversion for a touchdown, how big is that and how important is that for the defense?
It's always big for the defense, if we can help the offense out by putting points on the board, so that's our main thing is just to help the offense by stopping the other offense, and if we get opportunities to get points ourselves, to do that. So yeah.
Front row on the left, Jack Sobel.
Tay, you've had a couple of those where you had the great break on the ball, but you didn't bring it in, or against physicality where you were ruled down by contact. Like, how did it feel to finally get that pick six?
Oh yeah, it felt great, to be honest. It's just stuff I worked on. So, I thank God for allowing me to be able to do that, and it feels good to finally have my first one, and I want more. So, I'm not really going to be too big on that one, but I thank God for that.
And then obviously you made the play. Don had a couple plays. Tyler had a couple plays there in the second half. Like, how well is the safety room playing as a whole, and how are you guys still ascending?
We're playing well, and we just try to get better every week. And the goal for us as safeties is to run the defense. Make sure the back seven is in line, and make sure we're all aware of what's going on. So we just want to keep focusing on just being us, and we're not really worried about anything else other than that.
Front row on the right, Mike Berardino.
Don's big hit, loud hit on that first series, how much did that jack up the defense, and what do you think the carryover is when somebody delivers a perfect hit like that?
Oh yeah, Don, he's a fire starter, so that kind of what it was for the defense, and I think it was on third down if I'm pretty sure, but he's a fire starter. Don brings the energy to our defense, and that's what we needed in that moment. They got a big play, like I think the first couple plays before that, and for Don to do that, it was a fire starter for our defense. It turned all of our energy up, and that's what we needed. So it was a great play for sure.
And then you guys are very sound tackling here over this winning streak, and Drake was saying the other day, when you do go good on good in practice, having Love and Price come at you really helps you hone your fundamentals. You're ready for anything.
Yes, sir.
I know it doesn't happen a whole lot, but how much does it help you guys being sound tackling with those two guys?
It helps a lot, because you got JD and J Love, they're great running backs, so you have to make sure you take the right angle, you got to have the right pad level, and it just helps you work on things you're going to do in the game, because we're not going to play two dynamic running backs like that. So just going up against them in practice and working on our technique, we feel like we could tackle anybody else.
Third row on the left, Tyler Horka.
Coach Freeman was just in here talking about how you're playing confidently because you know that you're a gifted athlete, but the work that you put in is kind of matching up with that now. What has it been like to know that you're not only relying on your gifted traits, but the work that you're putting in practices, you're seeing it on Saturdays now?
It's kind of been motivation for me, because just even before I got to Notre Dame, I was always just a gifted player. I wasn't that big, so once I kind of figured out that I'll always be gifted, it's an ability God gave me, I figured out that I had to put in the work and figure out where I was lacking at, you know, outside of the ability and outside of being gifted. So figuring out that and just honing in on it and taking advantage of it for sure.
Really seemed like the guys up front were winning for Notre Dame today. How much easier is it for you to tee off as a safety when you know that things are going to get chaotic because your guys up front are doing so well?
Oh yeah, you know, it's much easier because, you know, forcing the quarterback out the pocket, you know, putting pressure on them, it kind of doesn't give them too many options to throw the ball. So when they're scrambling and they're moving out the pocket, they're kind of dialed in on one receiver. So it helps all the DBs play better. You know, we have to plaster and stay on our man as the quarterback is scrambling. But for me as a safety, it's easier because by that time he's just looking at one receiver. So it's easier for me to get to the ball.
On the left side along the wall, Phil Hope.
Tay, how important is film study to your preparation, and what maybe did you learn about Pitt this week that helped you to make that big play and a couple of big plays today?
Yeah, I feel like film study is everything, you know. Coach Freeman talks about playing with velocity and playing with clarity, so that's kind of what the film study gives us, you know, and that has to be our edge, you know, because everybody in college is good, so we have to figure out a way to get an edge to be able to play faster than the other team. So just having that clarity and that velocity to by being able to watch the film study and see what's coming, you know, it helps us a lot. And Pitt, you know, we knew they were explosive offense. We knew they were going to try to throw the ball. So just watching our film and honing in on all the details helped us out a lot.
10 games now into your first season on the field. Talk about your evolution from game one to how you feel now going into the game and maybe your confidence level.
Oh, yeah, my confidence definitely went up for sure. That's the main thing, you know, just because first game you kind of still had the thoughts like, you know, do I belong, you know, sort of as a redshirt freshman. And as the games keep continuing, you know, I just try to do better every game, do better than the last. So, you know, I feel like I'm doing that, and it has led to me being way more confident. You know, I feel like my teammates trust me out there. I'm not just a young player anymore. You know, I'm somebody who teammates look up to and who they trust. So it's definitely just my confidence is the biggest thing for sure.
We do have time in the back, Chris Daly.
Yeah, Ted, I mean, the interception kind of had a pin drop, pick six there, rowdy crowd, college game day in town. How cool is that for you, especially on the sideline? Not to really hear the noise of the crowd, but just to hear the silence and the defeat from some of the Pitt fans.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it was great for me. It was a great moment. You know, that's what I dream about. That's what I visualize every game. You know, is me catching a pick six. So, you know, to be able to do that in this type of environment, you know, with college game day here, it's a blessing, and I thank God for that. And I just pray and continue I can keep doing it more and more every game.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
We're gonna start front row on your left, Jack Sobel.
Jeremiah, can you take us through your first touchdown run, and at what point did you know you were going to pull out that swivel?
So it was inside zone or like a pulling type play. Everybody executed, great blocks. Read it out, seen the safety coming down at kind of a bit of an angle, so kind of knew I was going to go back to the left. So I just tried to set him up, hit a spin move, kept running, touchdown.
And to kind of paraphrase Emil's pregame speech to the offensive line, he basically said they don't respect you. Like, I know you're not in that room, but did you feel like there's any disrespect coming from the Pitt side this week? And if so, did you use that as motivation?
I mean, me personally, like, I feel like there was a little bit. I feel like they didn't respect us. They didn't really talk about how aggressive we were as a team. They didn't really talk about really like how much we were basically just dominators. It was kind of a little bit disrespectful. They had a lack of respect for us, but didn't use it for motivation. I really could care less what anybody else's think. Just gonna go out there and do my thing. But looking back, was a little bit of lack of respect.
Front row on the right, Michael Ferrero.
Right here, Jeremiah. Kind of a two-part question for you here. What's the chemistry been like with the running back room this year? And your defense made some big plays. What was it like to see that perspective on the sideline, seeing your defense make some plays today?
It's always great when we're playing complementary football. You know, defense is doing good, offense is doing good, complement each other, and then special teams is doing good as well. I mean, the dynamic in the running back room is it when everybody, whenever somebody's moment is or whenever somebody's called up to play, they're going to go out there and do the best that they can and execute whatever play is called. And So our running backs, me, J.D. Aeneas, Jabron, Nolan, anybody can go in there, but they're going to go in there and execute. But at the end of the day, we played complementary football. I feel like everybody did their job for the most part, and we just played off of each other. When the opportunity came, we made plays off of turnovers and things like that, and just executed the whole game plan, both defensively, offensively, and special teams wise.
Back row, Tyler Borka.
Hey, Jeremiah, outside of the 56-yard touchdown, I think there was a 22-yarder in there as well. Some things were difficult to come by in the ground game, but I'm curious, like, is there value in getting those 3, 4-yard, 5-yard runs? I know you said earlier in the week that you want to take everyone for a touchdown, but it was a grinded out kind of game, and that's what you guys were able to lean into.
Oh yeah, I feel like the backbone of the game is getting those small yardage gains. You know, like converting on 3rd and 4th down, like those keep drives going, and really they're the most important things we can do as an offense is convert for 3rd and 4th downs. Then you obviously have the big plays. Those are just really the icing on top of just going out there and executing and keeping the play alive and keeping the drives alive. This game was a game where we had to, pound it in there. You had to get some 3 to 4 yard runs and, wait for the big moment to come. And then when it comes, take advantage of the opportunity. But 3 to 4 yard runs and those small gains are essential to, our success as an offense.
We tend to ask your teammates about plays that you make. It's my turn to ask you about a play that your teammate made. The catch that Malachi Fields had, just what was your vantage point for that, and how crazy was that?
I thought it was crazy. Like, I don't even think Malachi even thought he was going to catch that ball. It was a crazy catch. I love to see stuff like that. I love to see guys make spectacular plays on offense and defense. Malachi made a great play, like game, just crazy play. It was the best play in the game, in my opinion. Then you had defensively Adon catching that interception, way in the end zone, taking it all the way back to the crib. I just love seeing my guys, having success and, just doing what they got to do to, help this team achieve some team glory. But when they make spectacular plays, it gets me going. I love to see it.
Front row, Bennett Wise.
Jeremiah, you guys were, Pitt came in with one of the top rushing defenses in the country, and you guys ran for more than anybody else has on them all year. What did you see from the offensive line, but also from yourself and really everybody as a team to be able to go in and kind of make it a weakness for them?
So our offensive line went out there and just moved guys around. They went out there, played with violence, executed every single play, and were just strong throughout the whole game. CJ made some good pulls as well to open it up, make them respect CJ more, which will really help us as running backs, be able to read everything out and have them put some respect on everything. But our offensive line played their butts off. They went out there and played through the whistle, which gave us as running backs the opportunity to go out there and make big plays, and also gave the receivers to go out there and make big plays. Like we just talked about Malachi's crazy catch. That wouldn't happen without the offensive line or without the people protecting CJ to make that throw. But yeah, everybody played their butts off, and so we're really just getting started of playing Notre Dame football. We feel like we can improve a lot more, offensively, and we feel like from a running back perspective, we left, quite a few yards out there. But offensive line did great. We as running backs got to take more advantage of the opportunities they present with us.
Last question for Jeremiah, Chris Lowe.
Hey, Jeremiah, this is really the second year in a row you guys have had what I call an NCAA basketball tournament mentality where you got to win or go home as far as the playoff. Why have you guys been so good in those situations? And what has sort of been this team's secret sauce?
I wouldn't really say there's really no secret to it. We just got great coaches and great people in our program. We got coaches like Coach Free, Coach Sider, all the defensive guys. Like we just got great coaches that's gonna motivate us to never give up and just do what we got to do to finish the season how we want to finish it. And then just players just speaking on our brotherhood. Like we're really a close knit group. Like everybody cares for each other. Like there is no offense on this side of the locker room, defense on this side of the locker room. Like everybody's together at all times. And I feel like that togetherness has helped us to fight through adversity and, just win games and just make it as far as we have. Kudos goes to the coaching staff and just the players for just stand together through hard times, and that's how we were trained, really. Just stick together and just keep going.
Jeremiah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank